So welcome to 4Keys Private Tuition, 4Keys College of Science Education. We're going to continue with quadratic equations. We're looking at quadratic graphs in the previous video. You can go and watch that video. You can even solve my quadratic equations by just plotting the graph correctly and also, locating the x-intercepts. So there are 2 points usually where your graph is going to cross your x-axis. Takati ipapo ndopane solution quadratic equation yako, ndopane anonzi roots. You can go and watch the previous video. So you can solve quadratic equations by just plotting a graph correctly and also locating these points. So we're going to look at how you can solve quadratic equations in this video using the quadratic formula. But before we do that, we're going to just do a small revision of completing the square. You can go and watch our previous video, but let's just do a quick one here. So ndikakuti solve the following equations by completing the square. Chekutanga, you want to put your equation in the standard format. That's ax squared plus b x plus c. So kuti ndiite rearrange this to standard format, I have to take this 8x and bring it to this side, where it becomes minus 8x. So I now have x squared minus 8x minus 9 is equal to 0. So what I can do is I can now complete the square for this first part, x squared minus 8x. I don't know if you still remember what we did in the previous videos. Taitora b which is minus 8. So ndiyo watunoisa hapa to divide na 2. So minus 8 over 2. And then we square minus totora b is minus 8 over 2. And then we square, we take our constant minus 9. We equate that to 0. Then from there, this becomes x minus 4 squared is equal to 25. If you simplify there, then you find the square root of x minus 4 squared here, which becomes x minus 4 is equal to plus or minus root of 25. So you have two possible solutions because you're going to have a positive root and a negative root. And you simplify that, you get x is equal to 9 and x is equal to 1. Let's do another one just quickly. So what I have to do is I have to rearrange this in standard form. Standard form. Quite standard form my index here. Standard form a quadratic expression. So I have to expand this bracket and bring this 20x to this side. It becomes minus 20. So minus 8x minus 20 becomes minus 28x plus 16. So I can now complete the square for this part. My negative b here, which is negative 28 over 2, negative 28 over 2, I square. I bring my 16 equal to 0. And from there, I come to this stage. I find the square root of x minus 14 squared. And I equate that to the root of 180. Two possible solutions for the positive and negative root. And I have those solutions. So I'd like you to try this yourself. So let's move on to what we want to talk about, the quadratic formula. Let's move to the quadratic formula. Okay, so we need to look at where we get the quadratic formula. In of the AP, where does it come from? So we're going to show this by completing the square. So imagine your standard formula for the quadratic equation, your standard expression for the quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c. So if I wanted this to have the coefficient of x here to be 1, I can divide pesa by a. So if I do that, I would end up with something like this. And now I can complete the square for this part, first part. So if I do completing the square for that first part, since my coefficient of x squared is now equal to 1, I can do this. And remember what to put inside the brackets. X, now I have b over a is my b. So I have b over a, but remember you have to divide your b by 2. So it becomes b over 2a squared. Now I do the same here, becomes b over 2a squared plus my constant c over a. I move to the next stage where I can simplify here to get minus b squared over 4a squared plus c over a, my constant. So I now have two constants here. And what I can do is I can try to put them under the same denominator. So minus b squared over 4a squared here. If I want to bring them to the same denominator, I can multiply c over a by 4a here. So if I multiply by 4a there, I'm going to have this part remains the same, but this part now, and now I have my negative b squared plus 4ac, this is 4a times c, over my 4a squared, which is the common denominator now. So kanandadaro, I can take this, remember this is all equal to 0, so I can take this part and bring it to this side, where I'm going to multiply everything there by a -1, or it becomes minus when it crosses the equal sign. So this part remains the same. I now bring this whole part to this side of the equation, and it becomes b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. From there, what do? I can find the square root of this, and also find the square root of this. This one becomes x plus b over 2a is equal to the root of this whole expression this side. So I can now take this b over 2a to this side, where it becomes negative b over 2a, and I can see that there's a common denominator here, so I can bring everything under the same denominator, and when I do that, there you have it. That's my quadratic formula. So a quadratic formula is we can say you are simply solving quadratic equations using completing the square method, because this is where the formula is coming from. All right, so let's now use this to solve some equations. So that's the first equation. It's already in our standard format. So let's solve this. You need to find your a, which is 3, b is -2, and c is equal to -5, and the rest is just substitution. So I substitute into this formula, and those substitute are taking care of my signs here. Okay, so you can check this yourself. From there, I evaluate. So I have two possible solutions: root of 64, the positive root here, or the negative root, -8, and divide by 6 to get 5 over 3 and -1. Let's try this one. Let's try this one together. So I obviously need to rearrange this equation to the standard format for quadratic equations. So I can bring this 3x this side, and also this constant this side. So if I do that, I'm going to have 5x squared minus 7x plus 3 is equal to 0. The next thing is my a is equal to 5, b is equal to -7, and c is equal to 3. I substitute into the quadratic formula. From there, I'm going to have two possible solutions as before. Unfortunately for this, I'm not going to get a solution. Why? Because I'm finding the square root of a negative number, so there is no real solution for this one. So no solution for this one. Let's do this one, and let's arrange it to standard format. Expand first. So we expand, remove these brackets, collect like terms, and I'm going to have 4 over 7x squared plus 3x plus 1, meaning that, so I can simplify here. I can remove this fraction here, multiplying everything by 7, and I have 4x squared plus 21 plus 7. And from there, I can see that my a is equal to 4, my b equals 21, and my c equals 7. So the next thing is to what? You simply substitute into the quadratic formula. So if I do my substitution, I have to make sure I write the formula first correctly, taking note of the signs here and substituting everything else correctly. You need to train yourself to substitute. From there, I'm going to have my two possible solutions for the positive square root and the negative square root, and you can evaluate that yourself. So I'm going to end here for this video. You can try this at home. You can try more examples from your textbooks, your green books, or you can inbox me so that we can do step-by-step coaching, calculating together so that you nail this. So bring a friend here to like and subscribe to our channel. You can inbox me for further lessons. So I'll meet you in the next video. Enjoy your studies.